For me, Nightbreed remains one of horror's greatest what-if stories. A film misunderstood, heavily altered, and poorly marketed that spent decades fighting its way back from obscurity. For years, Nightbreed wasn't just a movie, it was a rescue mission. So what if the studios actually trusted Clive Barker? What if the audience had been shown the actual movie he made? What if Midian had become the franchise it deserved to be? Well, those things are always going to be a mystery. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Gray Media. Josh here, checking in on you out there in YouTube land. YouTube, I hope you're doing good, man. I'm in a great mood. It is Monday. Hopefully you're doing well as well. We're talking about, probably gun to my head, one of my favorite Clive Barker movies. I know he's only done a couple, and you know, when you look back at his body of work, his filmography, you run into a lot of problems with studio interference and like people changing the stories of his movies or not liking his vision, running into problems with visual effects, overdubbing his actual actors' voices. All kinds of terrible shits happened to poor Clive Barker. Just Clive as an artist, as a writer, as a painter, his books of blood, his poetry, and then of course his movies, man. I am just such a massive The first book I think that ever actually scared me was a Clive Barker book. Like, it actually got under my skin and made me nervous. Was a Clive Barker book, and then I've just always loved all of his movies, except for maybe some people that have kind of taken some chances, like Rawhead Rex is not great. His Books of Blood on Hulu, and then I think there was even a movie. Those aren't amazing, but those aren't really totally based on his work. Like, those don't really count. Like, the Books of Blood are some of the best short stories I've ever read, and I fucking love Stephen King, and I'm putting him over some Stephen King stuff. So when it comes to talking about the brand new edition of Nightbreed, we got to talk about Nightbreed itself, and we got to really get into the nitty gritty with Nightbreed. Watching Nightbreed today, it's honestly hard to believe that this movie was considered a failure. That makes no sense. I don't understand what happened. I can tell you what happened. They turned his vision into a motherfucking slasher film, removed like 25 to 30 minutes of the actual movie and made it all about Decker and tried to make it more mass appealed. And that's how we ended up with the fucking theatrical cut, which is not the way to watch this movie, first of all, because what Barker created wasn't just another slasher. It wasn't a Freddy clone. It wasn't some mass killer, chasing teenagers around. Nightbreed was a dark fantasy epic disguised as a horror film, a movie that was daring to ask simple questions. What if the monsters were the good guys? God forbid, right? Based on Barker's novella Cabal, the film follows Aaron Boone, a troubled young man convinced he's responsible for a string of brutal murders. But the real killer in Nightbreed is his psychiatrist, Dr. Decker, played masterfully by the one, the only David Hold My Beer Cronenberg, the Canadian gentleman, man. David Cronenberg as Dr. Decker is one of the most unsettling performances in horror history. The mask is horrific. His opening scene where he's chasing that family through the house and he just slits that mom's face across right when she's looking in the freezer, just trying to cook some food for the kid there. And the apple goes rolling across the floor. I've got multiple videos talking about Nightbreed, but this movie changed my life as a little kid. This movie scared the absolute piss out of me. I love fucking Nightbreed. I love Dr. Decker. Boone's search for answers in this film eventually leads him to this little magical place called Midian, which eventually became a Cradle of Filth album that is also excellent. But Midian is a place where the monsters live, right? That's where Nightbreed becomes something special. Midian isn't just a ceremony in Calgary, it is a kingdom. It's a hidden city beneath the earth where the creatures, the outcasts, and the monsters have escaped humanity's judgment. Growing up, most monster movies teach us that we should fear the creature. There's something wrong with the monster. We need to kill it with fire and get away from it. That's not the case with Nightbreed. Nightbreed teaches us that, people suck, ultimately. in this world. And Midian is a place where the monsters and the creatures can come and kind of fellowship and be safe and have this underground dwelling that looks really scary to us, the audience, but it's actually just the fucking best place, you guys. Oh my fucking God. Every time I revisit Midian, I'm reminded how ambitious this movie actually is. Every single monster needed practical makeup. Every single monster was meticulously detailed, and they just put so much work into these monsters, man. Especially, you know, you've got like the underground layer first and kind of like the welcoming monster. Then you get a little bit further and you've got like the vicious, the cannibal monsters. And then down below, you've got the berserkers that are just out of their fucking mind, almost kind of like in the mouth of madness style monsters. And they're the absolute best, just full-blown horrific creatures that just come out to inflict violence. They have to be locked up because we can't trust them, right? And then we get to talk about the moon. The tribes of the moon, the Nightbreed, right? Nightbreed reaches for the moon and the stars with this film, as it's very, very ambitious, and it takes a lot of chances here. The practical effects remain absolutely fucking incredible. Let's talk about Barker himself doing something that's bigger than just a traditional horror film even, right? He wanted mythology. He wanted world building. He wanted to... You could even say like he's kind of creating, like, because this was going to be a trilogy, he was creating like a Star Wars for monster movie fans. Think about that. If we would have got like, you know, Nightbreed and then Cabal, and like we could just really like go through and like flesh out all these wonderful places, man, it would have been absolutely incredible. But instead, the studio thought they were going to be like just losing money. We can't market the son of a bitch, so let's go ahead and play it safe and just bury it as a slasher film. And that's what we're left with. Other things I want to mention before we get too far into this 4K is Danny Elfman's score. Kind of similar to Hellraiser in scope and sound. Very, very triumphant, very, very apocalyptic sounding. Danny Elfman, he'd done Beetlejuice, he'd done some Frankenweenie stuff. He did a lot of stuff with Tim Burton. He also did, obviously, Batman. He's done everything. One of the best music scorers, composers in the world, and he just happened to do Nightbreed, which made this film seem massive. It made it seem very, very large in scale because the music was so just... triumphant is how I would say it, man. It's like, it feels like it's just the best. It's the absolute fucking best, man. It's melancholic at the same time. It's kind of tragic. It's kind of like hopeful. Some of those matte paintings where they're standing on there and that music is swelling, man. It kind of almost makes me emotional, but maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm fucking up. I fucking love monsters, and I love Nightbreed, you guys, so much. Let's talk about different versions of Nightbreed that we've got. Going back in time to when I was just a little fella, we got Nightbreed VHS. This is the OG of OGs. A lot of mileage, a lot of wear and tear. I love this movie. Old school, but it's really, really short because this is the 1990 theatrical at only 101 minute or something. Then we moved on to the Scream. Was it Scream? No, it was not. I'm sorry. Who put this thing out? This was Warner Brothers, and this came out with the 101 theatrical version. And this DVD got a ton of play too. Beat the hell up, man. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I have watched this movie a lot. And then finally we got the 4K edition from Scream Factory, and this is actually the first time that this movie got the 4K treatment, and I was pretty happy. If you're a big fan of this movie, you get 4 cuts of the film, right? You get the theatrical cut, you get the Blu-ray theatrical cut on and then disc 3 is the Blu-ray director's cut, and then disc 4 is nothing but the bonus features. It's got that Tribes of the Moon documentary. It's got a ton of stuff. So if you're a Scream Factory fan and you don't have this, and you love Nightbreed, and you don't have a Region B player, I would say that this is a really good version for people until the Arrow Video 4K chunky box just came out right here. This is an incredible release with a caveat. Now, do you need to own this? I think it just depends on how much do you love this film. If you just kind of like Nightbreed, maybe the Scream Factory will be okay for you. If you're not interested, if you're used to Nightbreed being the slasher cut and you haven't seen the Cabal cut or the VHS extended cut that's got like all the Clive Barker's extra scenes, some of those are up to 3 hours long. If that's fine with you and you've never seen the director's cut, maybe Scream Factory's okay. If you bought the Scream Factory and you really enjoyed the director's cut, this is the first time the director's cut gets its own disc, 100 gigs or so, right? 4K treatment. There's also a caveat with both of those, though, because some of the footage that has been found, and there's a wonderful introduction before you watch the director's cut about how they put 20 more minutes in, and they actually put 40 more minutes in because they took some of the old footage and kind of cleaned it up, added new scenes to it, right? This is the way to watch this movie. If you haven't seen the director's cut, what you're missing is all of the monster's point of view. It's a lot less Decker just being a serial killer running around. Even though I love David Cronenberg going fucking ham, the director's cut is the way to watch it because you get a lot more underground tunnel scenes. You get a lot more of those monsters in great 4K detail. The caveat is this is grainy. And it's not super even because it's not a full restoration where every single scene was restored. I think some of it's been scanned, and I don't know if it's all the original camera negative or not. Some scenes look a little bit, they still look good, but they're a little bit grainier than the other ones. And you'll be able to tell which scenes those are because the grains, they're not as controlled as the rest of the scenes. But the 4K director's cut looks way better than the Blu-ray. So if you're a fan of that, man, I definitely think you should get it. I think as far as bonus features with Arrow Video, you know what you get. You get tons and tons and tons of special features. A lot of those reported over. You do get a brand new one, which I think is the Making Monsters, which is, I think it's like an hour or so. I didn't have time to get through all these this weekend because I was just like, I was in Nightbreed mode. And it is a movie that, like, once I get into it, man, I fucking start start looking up lore about it. It makes me want to go back and read Clive Barker. So I'm such a massive fan of Nightbreed. I think if you are too, man, this Arrow Video release compared to the Scream Factory, I think it's not even close because, and this artwork is way better than this artwork. I don't really like this artwork that much. I like being able to see the great detail in all of the monsters, and I'm so used to this being like the cover poster. Like, that's all you really need. Arrow, just put the cover poster on there. What do you get inside? Well, you can slip this thing off. I love it when they have the chunky boxes with the slips, and then you get more of that artwork that I don't like compared to the original. Okay, you get the kind of hide and go shriek, Lori was wrong 4K. It is reversible, so if you want that stupid new artwork, you can get that too. 2 discs, 4K, both 100 gigs, I believe. Yeah, reversible sleeve. And then on the inside, you get a Nightbreed poster. So let's go ahead and look at the poster. Whoa, get out of the shot, Josh. I mean, it's cool. I don't know. Maybe it's the color choice. And then you do get this badass poster of the other side, Dr. Decker. I'll probably use that somewhere. And then, of course, with Arrow, it smells so fucking good, man. You get all of the monsters. I didn't need to do a complete review on Nightbreed, but I just wanted to talk about the movie and how much I love it because I've already covered it on my channel, I think, a couple of times. And I don't know if people just don't pay attention to Nightbreed like they should, but it's just that good of a movie. Look at fucking what's his name? Doug Bradley there. Poor guy had his fucking vocal lines 80 yard and removed for the theatrical. Of course you're going to want the director's cut that has the real Doug Bradley in there. What the fuck are you talking about? You got the kind of like fucking moon face dude there. Oh my God. Excellent movie, man. I think some of the scenes where there's actual monsters down in the depths and some of the 4K restoration that they do when they're running through those tunnels, man, and you can see like all the pieces of the ropes moving. You can see when the guy's coming up and he pulls the 2 little things out of his head. There goes the neighborhood, that dude. Excellent. There's the dude when he's dancing with the body. He just wants to let her cook for just a little bit longer in that coffin. Dude looks fucking incredible. There's amazing scenes with gore. You've got, of course, the lead Nightbreed, right? Oh, absolutely fucking incredible. Some of those, when they're running through the cemeteries, man, some of the gunfire sounded really good with the DTS 5.1, I want to say. Still sounded really good trying to do that Dolby Atmos thing upgraded. I do wish it had a Dolby Atmos track. It does have Dolby Vision, so I think that this thing fucking rocks, man. I swooped it up at the movie room, but you need to own this too, 100%, if you love Nightbreed, because you need to own the director's cut on 4K, because that Blu-ray from Scream Factory just doesn't look that good. So, man, in the meantime, guys, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure those bell notifications are on. I was looking at my YouTube analytics over the weekend. One of my videos is blowing up for my channel, which is a couple thousand views. It says like only like 150 people have all notifications turned on. So if you're one of those people, dude, do me a favor, man. Hit the notification bell. Let those things come back to life. Get back into Nightbreed with me, man. Let me know who is your favorite monster. And if you could change one or two things about Nightbreed, what would you do? Have you seen the Cabal cut? I've seen, of course, you can see it on YouTube. I've watched it. It's pretty grainy, like as far as like the way that it's mixed and everything. Some of the audio goes in and out, right? Some of the score's not in there. So I know everybody wants the Cabal cut. They want the complete version. And people are kind of talking shit like, why would you put this out if it's not complete? I think that some of those, I think I would love to have the Cabal cut as an option, but if you've got the Scream Factory cut, you've got like multiple theatricals and directors, and then if you've got different VHS cuts, right? If you've been collecting this movie your whole life, you've already seen the Cabal cut. I would love to have it on there, but it's not on there, and I don't make the fucking rules. I wish that I did, but you guys, thank you so much. I love you so much. Check back in with me on Thursday because we have a special guest coming on the channel, an OG in the horror community by the name of Piz Owl Home Video. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific time. Going live with my buddy Piz. I'm meeting him for the first time. I've been on some live streams with him, so he's the first time coming on the channel, kind of celebrating 2 years. So it's going to be an evening with Piz, man. Can't wait to get into it. You guys have a great rest of your week. I'm going to come back Wednesday with another review and just to kind of maybe talk shop and get into some other. I really want to do horror movies that piss me off. I've really been thinking about it. I just need a little bit more time to edit it so I can put it out and shit all over stuff. I also need to find another 135 minutes to finish Scream 7 because I watched the first 15 or 20 minutes and I had to shut that shit right off. I'm sorry, Fernie, and I'm sorry, Retro Joe out there in the Eugene Valley area where I live. I'm not a fan. But there was so many other movies that I could have wasted 100 and fucking 18 minutes on. So, it's 2 hours long. So I watched like fucking 15 or 20 minutes of it. And I was like, another hour and 40 of this? I don't know there's no way I can do this. Just like I'm talking to you and wasting your time. Scream 7 so far felt like a waste of time. And I was just 15, 20 minutes in it. Can it get much better? I feel like you should have the best part at the beginning. So if you want to see me trash Scream 7 and lose a bunch of subscribers, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, take great care. Cheers.